I thought I'd just give you a few fun facts about Australia that you may or may not know. In terms of population, Australia is 54th in the world with 0.33% of the population. And if you look there compared to America, which is third, and China, which is number one with 18%, we're a long way to go, especially when you consider how big we are. Interestingly, our population 100 years ago was 5.7 million. US was 111 and China 440. And now Australia's got 26.4 million people, where the US has 340 and China is 1.4 billion. Now, even though they're significantly higher than Australia is, if you look at the maths, Australia has actually grown at a faster pace than both of those in that time. You've gone up fourfold, almost five, where the others have gone up threefold. So our pace is there. Now, I don't think we're going to catch them anytime soon, even though we're growing faster, but it just shows we've got a lot of capacity. There's a lot of economic value in having populations of those mass, and it is a snapshot of what the future will become, because if we go another three or fourfold in the next 100 years, that's going to put us up towards 75 to 100 million people, which will be pretty incredible, given where we are now. If you look at the total properties, there's only 11 million properties in Australia right now, compared to 142 in the US and 474 million properties in China. Our average wages is 1,800 Australian dollars compared to 1,100 in the US and 1,000 in China, but the buying power is fairly similar in situ, so Australians do pretty well when it comes to average wages, and they get great support with overtime rates, etc. This is probably one of the most important ones I feel, is this pension saving as a percentage of GDP. You can see we've got 147% in pensions compared to our GDP as a nation, which shows that Australians are well safeguarded into the future, to cover their retirement spending. And this has been a significant change. It has been 30 years in the making, way back to the Hawke and Keating government days, where superannuation became a focus so that people could adequately fund for their own retirement. And this is the byproduct of those great policies back in the 80s. In terms of unemployment, if you're unemployed in Australia, you'd get $375 a week to help you until you get a job, compared to $378 in the US and China, $366.1. But importantly in Australia, there's no time limit. If it takes longer than you thought, you still get it. And you get additional support with training, help with resumes, anything you need is there to help you. And if we look at the owner-occupied, Australia is one of the highest in the world with 66.3% owner-occupied rate in the property market, compared to the US of 65.9, but China, incredibly, is 89.7%, which is huge. But Australia at 66 is one of the leading ones in the Western world. And finishing off, I thought I'd just throw the corruption index. Australia's 13th on the corruption index, which is pretty high. America 24th and China 65th. So we're a very fair, reasonable and honest society as a rule. And these are just some fun facts for you to share about Australia and see how you go.